Of the hundreds of monsters in D&D, which ones are the true icons? I'm not talking about the toughest or the most powerful. I'm talking about the ones that just scream Dungeons and Dragons the second you see them. So today I'm counting down my personal top 10, and I guarantee one pick in particular is going to be controversial. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 10 is the Flump. I know what you're thinking. That weird floating jellyfish thing? Yeah, but my daughter's friend doesn't even play D&D, but when he learned about this channel that I was doing it, he kept telling me to do a Flump video. A kid who's never rolled a d20 knows this creature. The Flump represents D&D's absolute creative weirdness. It's lawful good and eats bad psychic vibes. It's the ultimate underdog that captures D&D's imaginative spirit. All right, at number 9 is the Mimic. The Mimic is iconic because it created universal D&D player paranoia. Perfect example. I was running a game for my Kennedy Krieger group, and they're all brand new players. But they stumbled upon a treasure chest. One player who's never played D&D before looks at me and asks, "Is it a Mimic?" So naturally, I, on the spot, turned it into a Mimic. Number 8, and one of the surprising ones you might find on the list, is the Troll. I mean, for many players, the Troll is the first monster you can't just beat by hitting it harder. I mean, I learned this the hard way because when I was a teen, I was killed by a Troll. Not my first character death, but I definitely remember that one. And the Troll, in my opinion, is so iconic because it introduces a core D&D concept. Some problems require creativity, not bigger numbers. And that desperate moment when your party screams, we need fire," well, it's a rite of passage. It teaches you D&D isn't just about dealing damage, it's about thinking outside the box. All right, number 7, the Albear. The quintessential D&D hybrid that makes absolutely no biological sense, and that's why it's perfect. And legend says that Gary Gygax was inspired by a cheap plastic toy from the 1970s that he found in a dime store. I always thought that it was cool as a kid, but I never encountered one in actual play. And then I watched the movie Honor Among Thieves, and just seeing that Albear come to life on screen, it was quite a moment for me. At number 6, we have everyone's maybe most feared monster, the Rust Monster. This creates a unique tension. It's not about the threat to your life, but your stuff. Every player has felt that specific gear fear when a Rust Monster rounds the corner. I mean, losing your precious weapons to a insect-looking monster, well, it seems deeply personal. Ever wonder what class you'd be in real life? Not D&D, but in actual real life. Well, I created a quick quiz that answers that exact question. It's 6 easy questions. You get your results, and the link's down in the description. All right, let's get back to the countdown with number 5. Number 5 is the Gelatinous Cube. I mean, the design is genius. A silent, transparent 10-foot cube of acidic JellO that perfectly fits standard dungeon corridors. It's a trap and a monster combined into one. So I love horror movies, and this thing could star in its own horror film. The idea of being slowly dissolved while still alive, being digested to death while suffocating and drowning is truly gross and terrifying. At number 4, the Mind Flayer. And this is where threats become more than just physical, Lovecraftian horror. The tentacles, the brain eating, the mental domination. Now here's my confession. When I first watched Stranger Things, I had no idea what they were talking about. I completely forgot what a Mind Flayer was. I mean, shame me in the comments, but when I played as a team, I just don't remember it. But now, between Stranger Things, Baldur's Gate 3, and coming back to D&D, well, they're everywhere in pop culture. All right, we're at the top 3 now, and at number 3 might be controversial, but it's the Goblin. While dragons are the final bosses, goblins are quintessential D&D monsters. I mean, for most players, a goblin is the very first monster they ever fight. Just getting back into D&D, the first one-shot I ever played, well, the first monsters we encountered were goblins. They're just the gatekeepers to adventure. And they may not be the scariest, but they're iconic because every hero's journey begins with a goblin. All right, at number 2 we have dragons. It's literally half the game's name, right? They're the definition of epic, high fantasy boss fights, and they're throughout Earth history everywhere. And they're ancient, intellectual beings that can be as deadly in combat as they can just talking to them. Whether it's an evil ancient red dragon or a benevolent gold dragon, dragons represent the peak of both role-playing and combat, and those are the 2 core pillars of the game. Okay, before we get to number 1, let me give you a list of monsters that just missed the cut, the honorable mentions. First up, the Gibbering Mouther. I mean, honestly, I was genuinely scared as a kid of this thing. I actively avoided its page in the monster manual. Alright, next on the honorable mentions list is the Lich, the ultimate powerful spellcasting villain, but I just didn't think it was in the top 10. And then there's the Purple Worm, a classic brute force terror. And finally, the Vampire. Between Strahd and classic horror, how could you not love vampires? Okay, dice roll please, because we're at number 1. The number 1 most iconic D&D monster is the Beholder. But why? Well look, they've been on the cover of the last 2 monster manuals for a reason. Their design is perfect. A floating orb of pure paranoia, where every eye stalk is a different magical nightmare. It embodies the chaos, danger, and wild unpredictability that makes Dungeons & Dragons the game that changed the world. Okay, that's my list, and I am sticking to it. Now I want to hear from you. What's your number 1 most iconic D&D monster? What did you think I got completely wrong? Did I leave any monsters out? What would you take out? Let me know your top 10 in the comments below.